Hey, welcome to another episode of the Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Before we get into the segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dole would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment. So if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. I do have a job, but any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. And more important, let us help you help us by introducing you to a program. There's a link down below that says Equal Justice for All. You're going to click that video link, and there's some educational tutorial about a phenomenal program in America that is really making equal justice a reality for every citizen. So this program is phenomenal. The proceeds from you participating in the program will go back, 10% will go back into the Bob TV YouTube channel. So anyway, my name is Robert Brown with the Rob Report. Let's get into it.
Blue collar, white collar, black professors, white scholars, politicians, Dalai Lamas. Everybody in the whole wide world need hope if I be honest. I'm in that number.
Hey, good day. Welcome to another episode of Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How you doing today? Well, I've been in what you call a mourning for the past few days. First, it started off with one of my longtime mothers in the church who kind of raised us right and made sure we walked the straight road to life, and Miss Baker. And she passed away last week. Now, I wasn't super close to Miss Baker, but I do remember the love and the care that Miss Baker had toward me, my brother, and my sisters. And back then, the whole neighborhood looked out for each other. We don't have that no more. And believe me, she looked out. If she catch you doing wrong, I don't care where you at, she'll get out and whoop your behind and discipline you. And we needed it. Believe me, we needed it. And then she'll tag my mama in to whoop my behind. And then a woman who I've known and love, who was the piano player at our church, taught me about singing. Me and her daughter were very close friends, still close friends to this day, and had a privilege to spend time with her, to eat in her home. She's also was the girls' dean at my school. And back then, it seemed like every school I went to, my mom worked at least around the corner right across the street. And every time I got in trouble, not only did Miss Covington dealt with me, kept me in the straight and the narrow, I had to deal with the boys' dean, Mr. Arnett, and then my mom would come across the street and deal with me. So I would get 3 disciplines in one. Man, we need to bring that stuff back in today, because that kept a lot of people on the straight and narrow. The moment we start laxing discipline, a lot of kids start acting like they have their own life, and it doesn't work well for them. But Miss Covington, God rest her soul, she passed away, and it really hurts. She's a very loving woman, tough, but very loving. And then one of the greatest men of my life, my dear Uncle MC, comedian extraordinaire, gospel singer, great dad, loved his wife, loved his kids, would do anything for his wife and kids. He would take the neighborhood boys and teach them how to be men. A lost art form today, teaching boys how to be men. Too many times we let the ladies teach the boys, and not that they can't do it, but a boy need another male in their life to teach them how to be boys. A female can't teach a boy how to be a boy. It just don't work that way. A female can teach a woman. It's like a man can't teach a girl how to be a girl. He can't teach him how to be a woman. Because he is still a male, a man. He may have a sexual orientation, has nothing to do with anything. But yet, that's not the story. And I'm not going to get in that debate because I know some people won't like what I got to say about that. But that's just the bottom line. I mean, you don't have men take, my Uncle MC would take us somewhere everywhere. Same thing with my brother's granddad, grandpappy, and just teach us fishing, changing the tire, changing the oil, opening the door for a lady, carrying the lady's stuff, being respectful, mowing the yard, cleaning the swimming pool, chopping down trees and stuff like that. Men stuff. Don't have that no more. Now he's passed away, and God rest his soul. I was just with him in September, and I had a good time to have a good talk with him. And him and my other Uncle Dave, both of these guys in their 80s, strong as an ox. They did a road trip with my cousin. And man, I wanted to put some hidden cameras in there because my cousin told me it was a blast. They had it was two 80-year-old men who one really never went out of Florida, the state of Florida, ever in his life. And it was his first time actually going cross country. And he said he had a ball. I told him, look, next time y'all roll out, I'm going to bring my camera. I'm going to shoot footage. We're going to call this Grumpy Old Men the road trip. And we're going to vlog this on my channel. And I wanted you guys to see these two very smart, intellectual, strong black men. Real gritty men. Man, that self-sufficient, grow their own crops in the backyard, chop down trees, did everything, build a house on their own, everything. And sad to say, one half of that team is gone, and I won't be able to have that. But rest in peace, Uncle MC. You were a fabulous man. They don't make them like you no more. Love your family, love God, love people, enjoy life. Your favorite saying was "land sakes alive," and you just was. I'm gonna miss you. I'm really going to miss you. Which brings me to this point, Sri Lanka. We don't hear too much about Sri Lanka in the news, and I was very silent about that because, as you know, I am a Christian. I don't claim to be a perfect Christian, but I do go to church, and I do take my faith serious, and I try to live as close as I can to it. I do expect to mess up. You push me the wrong way, I probably cuss you out and ask God to forgive you. I probably smack you, punch you, still ask God to forgive me. So Christianity is not a live perfect lifestyle, contrary to what people think. It's just that you want to live the best of your ability to be a vessel of love toward other people, because the person that we understand and learn and we receive his teaching from, Jesus, was just that, a person that loved people in general. And just recently, there were some terror attacks that happened that day. And there's a lot of things about that and what the media is doing that kind of pisses me off and tests my Christianity. First of all, they call this Easter. They were celebrating Easter service. Christians don't celebrate Easter. You just put that name on the Christian public. Easter is a traditional holiday, has nothing to do with Christianity or Christ. Replace Christ with the Easter bunny and the egg. Taking pictures with the Easter bunny to replace Christ. Easter come from an Egyptian god, and that's where that started. Christians don't celebrate Easter. They might have an Easter egg hunt in the back, but Christians don't celebrate Easter. They celebrate Resurrection Day, the day that we believe Christ rose from the dead. Now, you can dispute that with science or whatever. Bottom line, he ain't in the grave. Okay? We can dispute that another day. But these people went out to celebrate the fact that he is alive and he's living in this world today through us, through love, compassion, and things like that. And here you got a concerted effort from, and I'm going to use a Republican term that liberals don't like, lefties don't like. I call it as it is, whether you like it or not. And that's my problem with these people. I said, Tulsi Gabbard got balls of steel. You people getting all upset, crying. Oh, why you going to say it's offensive? First of all, stop. First of all, do you realize balls of steel don't mean testicles? You thought that. I never thought that. They're literal balls of steel. It makes things move. It makes things like cars and your bicycles and all that, ball bearings and all that. Those are balls of steel. They got small ones, they got big ones. And when I say that, that's what I mean. You guys getting all upset thinking about some testicles and then somebody talking about ovaries. I ain't talking about that. Y'all the one went there. Okay? And understand this, I'm not going to be politically correct, and I'm not going to agree with you. And if you don't like it, just peace out. I don't care. I told you, I thank God for the subscribers I got, but I never got here on it for the subscribers. I got up here to speak my mind. I'm a commentator, and I'm going to say it how I say it, and I'm going to be politically correct, unpolitically correct. I might be politically correct, and I might just don't give a crap. And I'm sick and tired. Now, let me stop using that word. I'm healed and full of energy. I'm trying to speak positive words these days. I'm healed and full of energy. People trying to tell people be politically correct. It's politically correct to say Easter because everybody can be. No. If you don't want to I don't participate in normal Jewish holidays because I'm not Jewish. But I respect it. I call it as it is, and I don't tell them what they should call it. Real Christians don't celebrate Easter. They celebrate Resurrection Day, the day that Christ rose from the dead. We come together to celebrate that. Some of us mourn. Some of us actually have a ball. We ball out. Because according to us, he's alive and he's risen and he's living in us. And we can't make the wheat and wait to meet him on that great day. Again, I'm not going to go back and forth with you about this invisible God in heaven. Nobody even said that we believe God is in heaven. Let me stop. Anyway, people going out, normal worship, Resurrection Day, Obama, not Easter, MSNBC, not Easter. These people in Sri Lanka celebrated Resurrection Day. And in the middle of that, some radical Islamic extremists, Muslims, did suicide bombing. Watch this.
6 bomb attacks across 3 cities in Sri Lanka on Easter Sunday. Most of them occurred within a single half hour. The targets were churches and popular hotel restaurants. Nearly 300 people were killed. Afterwards, 3 bombs detonate as police look for suspects. Sri Lankan officials have blamed a little-known radical Islamist group for the violence. Here's how the Easter Sunday attacks unfolded. What they show is a level of sophistication and coordination that resulted in one of the deadliest terror attacks in modern history. The story actually begins 10 days earlier, on April 11th. This document shows that Sri Lankan security forces were warned about the threats, but nothing is done to protect the churches. These are the 3 cities where the attacks take place on Easter Sunday. In Negombo, around 8:45 a.m., security cameras pick up this man walking into the St. Sebastian Church. He's a suicide bomber. This attack is the deadliest of the day. Over 100 people are killed. Around the same time, 3 separate other attacks hit the capital, nearly simultaneously. One is here, at a Catholic church called St. Anthony's Shrine. This dashcam footage gives a clue about the intensity of the blast. It blows off part of the church's roof. At the Shangri-La Hotel's Table 1 restaurant, an Easter brunch is being served. This photo is taken moments before 2 suicide bombers strike that location. The third target at this time is the Kingsbury Hotel. Experts say the bombs reveal a high level of sophistication. The amount of damage suggests the attackers had expert bomb-making skills and access to military-grade high explosives. Each attack targeted confined spaces, maximizing the impact of the blasts. Within a few minutes of the first waves of bomb blasts, there are two more attacks. One at another Colombo hotel, and another at a church on the country's opposite coast. As authorities respond, police encounter three more explosives that detonate. 3 officers are killed in one of these instances. So, in the first 36 hours, 6 bomb attacks have occurred, and so have 3 detonations of bombs found by police. All of this proof that a very deadly day could have been even deadlier.
Security video released by Sri Lankan authorities Tuesday shows one of the Easter Sunday bombers walking into a church in Negombo wearing a backpack. Moments later, many people were lying either dead or injured, here and in churches and luxury hotels in the capital, Colombo.
It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a white shooter going into a mosque and shooting up a bunch of Muslims. That is still considered extreme terrorism. You could put white supremacists, just like you put radical Islamic. You could say radical white supremacist terrorists, extreme terrorists. I mean, this guy walked in, as you saw, with a bag and just blew up everybody. Dylan Roof walked in with a gun and shot shoes at everybody. This guy was more nutwing. I mean, a lot of times when terrorists go, like when you got these terrorists, domestic terrorists, they're too scared to kill themselves. Too much of a punk. They'd rather go shoot a whole bunch of people and get a badge of justice for it, like Dylan Roof. These radical Islamic terrorists, they'll strap themselves with bombs because they believe in their philosophy that they're going to go to heaven and get some virgins. I know it's a little more to that because I'm not an expert in Islamic extremist theory. It's like I'm not an expert in Christian Islamic theory because I hate radical extremists when it comes to using that extreme to violence. Now, look, I'm a radical. I'm radical about certain things. I'm extremist about certain things, but it's an area of loving you to the point that I would not do anything to harm you unless you try to harm my life or you try to harm my family. Now that right there, that's different. Now, you got to understand some of the ideology. I just went to see this movie, Hotel Mumbai, and it was the same similar incident. A bunch of guys come in off the coast, not across the border, not over a gate, off the coast, with their bags full of machine guns and bombs. And they end up taking over the hotel. They end up blowing a whole lot of places up before they got to the final hotel. This was systematic. There was time. This is strategic. Just like the 9/11 attacks was timing and very, very strategic. They had that thing thought out. They probably been planning that for years. And the same thing happened with the intelligence there. It's the same thing that happened with the intelligence here. They knew it was coming, but didn't do anything to tighten up on it. They dropped the ball. Even myself, I kind of sensed something was happening. As a Christian, I went to spend some time with what I call my mother, a lady who kind of took me in and helped me in the faith, and Ann Jackson, and one time me, Ann, and Lynn, and all us were in there praying, and in my prayer, I just saw this dome. I mean, it was in my imagination. I'm not saying, oh, I saw into the spirit and I went. No, in my prayer, I just saw in my visual a dome over the United States, and there was 3 holes in the dome, and it seemed like some evil forces came in those holes in the dome and attacked it. Then 2 days later, now this was on a Sunday, I believe, because I was going to speak at that church. But 2 days later, the 9/11 attacks happened, and it was in 3 different places, and we were blown by the coincidence. Or was it coincidence? Maybe in my spirit, I got a warning that I couldn't do anything about. The bottom line is, those are my brothers and sisters in the faith. I love them. Now they're scared to go to church. Muslim mission accomplished. Not Muslim, but extremist Muslims like ISIL, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. That's a mission accomplished to them. If we can scare you not into going to church, mission accomplished. If we can get you to lead a faith overall, mission accomplished. If we can get you to dwindle down and cower down in fear and never go out, mission accomplished. If we can get you to turn from your faith and serve our faith, because in some cases, if you don't, that's your behind. Are you willing to give up your life for the faith that you possess? And for the media to sit here and just play names with this Easter Day, or some people don't even want to call it Easter. There are some Sunday morning worshipers. Just call it is. These Muslims, extremist Muslims, go around persecuting Christians. This is not nothing new. That's been going on for a while, where Christians are being persecuted all over the nation. These are people who are trying to do good for the world, feed, clothe. Sure, they have church service and invite people to come out. Some people, we don't call it conversion because we don't force you into. We preach, and if you decide to come on up, then that's on you. We never force you to do anything. At least in traditional Christianity, and supposed to be an evangelical Christianity, they don't convince you. They preach and let the word compel you to come forth and give your life over. It's not a force you. It's not a I demand you to do it, and if you don't do it, I'm going to kill you. But yet you got some people that are taking the Christian faith and going to the extreme, and in defense of defending the faith, they're willing to kill, when the scripture, Jesus never told you to go around killing to defend the faith. I'm upset at the media because they don't want to talk about this. They don't want to say this is extremist Muslims, Islamic, radical Islamic terrorists going around persecuting and killing Christians. ISIS's favorite thing is they will chop your head off if you say you're a Christian. Put it on a stake, or put it on a gun with the bayonet on it. The bottom line is Christians are still getting persecuted to this day, and you don't hear about it in the news. That one have to be in the news because it was a terrorist attack bomb. But they don't talk about the many Christians that get killed in villages just for preaching the gospel, from China all the way down to Africa, all the way down to South America, even in the United States. Dylan Root's supposed to be holding up the white cross, and he goes into a black church and kill a bunch of people. The black brother that went into a white church and killed a bunch of people as a revenge. This is sickening. This is madness. And this is not what we should be all about. God in the Christian Bible, especially in the New Testament, and a lot of people love to bring up old Bible scriptures that promote violence, not understanding that the Bible had translators. And the original interpretation of that was not the King James. People twisted it when they rewrote the Bible. And even in the New Testament, you don't hear violence going on like it did in the New Testament. They call it the dispensation of grace when Jesus, let me say this for you. For me, when he went to the cross, for you allegedly went to the cross, and he was risen, ushered in a dispensation of grace, which means you have unmerited favor with God. God don't hate you. He loves you. He wants to receive you just the way you are. He understands you, and he wants to work with you to make you all that he called you to be. Dispensation of grace. They don't teach that in the New Testament. So if these people going around killing in the name of God, in the name of Christ, or in the name of Allah, even though some scriptures may say something about that doesn't mean the entire scripture promotes, the entire Quran preaches violence. No, that's an extremist that's those teaching those things. Just like in the Christian culture, extremists teaching those things. And it's causing hurt and pain. These people lost people. Young kids at that church got blown away to the point their body, you can't even recognize the bodies. Can you imagine that? Here in New York City, security is so doggone lax. I go to the movies oftentimes. I go in there and I have my book bag and they don't even look at the book bag. I have to show them like, look, Brian, got nothing in there. You good? No, don't you good me, man. I want to go to movies comfortable knowing that you checking my stuff. Why I go to church? Believe me, they got security. Hey, you got to have security in church? Yes, you got to have security in church. You need to have security in schools. I am for having, New York is big on what they call school cops. And I'm not talking about no child patrol. I'm talking about the New York Police Department being there at schools. That's why our schools are at an all-time safe, all-time low when it comes to safety. Because they check you. They monitor the hallways through a TV. They check you before you come into the school. They even walk the grounds. They even check the other open ways in the school. You're not going to be able to get in that school without a buzzer going off or something like that. You ain't getting in those schools doing a lot of shooting. You don't hear about a lot of shooting going on in the schools in New York. That very rarely, because we have security. We have a police force that we hire, give them a salary, and their job is to protect those students. They have to be trained. They have to have the mindset and the mentality in order to work in the school system. And we need that to go nationally. I know a lot of people say we shouldn't have cops. Oh, yes, we should. Because you might get one of them nutwings like these two, whether it's on the Islamic side or the Christianity side or the atheist side or whatever side. You're going to get these numbnuts who think like this that's going to go in and kill a bunch of kids. Who's going to go in and kill a bunch of people in churches, who's going to go in and kill a bunch of people at the mosque, or go in the movies and start shooting people. And I love going to the movies. I want to be able to relax, kick my back, recliner back, and drink my soda and eat my popcorn without worrying about stuff like that. As you know, I got my show Big Rob Reviews, and that's all we do. We review it all from a hot dog to your grandma draws. That's our slogan. We review movies, we review products, services, and everything. Go check it out. How do you fight an ideology? Because this is not it's a literal army, but they can disguise themselves. See, you're not going against the blues versus the grays, the South versus the North, the red coats against the blue coats, America versus the British, or America versus the French. You're not identifying who this person is because of their dress. Even though they're part of an army and they do have a dress, when they go out in the public, you don't recognize them. It's the same thing with the Ku Klux Klan. You don't know the new Ku Klux Klan right now. Richard Spencer is doing his best to rebrand the Ku Klux Klan into his organization. And I'm quite sure there's many organizations like that where they're rebranding themselves. They're not walking around in a white robe no more. That's too easy. Nah, man, I might put on some Timberland boots and a jacket just like you and hang out with y'all and make you think I'm down with you and shoot every last one of you. How do you defeat an ideology? And I was going to go into a video of Pompeo. I got another thing I'm going to do about Pompeo. You can't identify this thing. You can't identify the radical extremist Christian. You can't identify the radical extremist terrorist or any other person. You can't identify. So how do you fight that? People need mental health. How do you fight hate? Bad teachings, bad ideology. The only thing you can do is fight it with teachings of love and teaching of compassion and teaching of brotherhood, which you don't hear. I started Winning with Love with Bobby just for that, so I could teach people how to love even the most difficult people to love. And guess what? That channel got 35 subscribers, probably. Because it's not hip, it's not cool. But the hate Facebook groups, the hate YouTube channels, they get a lot of people because people love the hate. It's easy to hate. It ain't easy to love. To me, you and your anger and you lashing out your anger, that's a punk move. It takes strength, stability, and courage to keep your cool and make a determination that I'm going to love your behind anyway, even though I can put my fist down your throat. I'm going to find some way to love you. But for me to just automatically put my fist down your throat at any move, or to pack up my backpack and let some person tell me that they're going to give my family money if I lay my life down for the cause, come to find out you blow up and you don't see the virgins. You know, me and my faith, I'd rather believe that there is a heaven than there's not. Either way, I'm good. If there's not a heaven, there's not a heaven. But I'd rather believe there is, and, you know, I'd rather have something positive to believe in than just the fact that I'm just going to lay dead in the ground. Worm meat. My spirit, I believe my spirit lives forever. I believe your spirit lives forever. But I'm not into this philosophy thing. This isn't what this is for. Innocent people worshiping their faith, and you got fools going in there want to disrupt it because they got a mission. What was the whole purpose of doing all that? What does it prove? What does that get you? What kind of brownie points does it get? I bet you 9 times 10 the parents didn't get no money. And had their parents know that these guys was radical Islamic terrorism or radical Islamic Christians, had their parents knew that, they would have fought them tooth and toenail not to be involved with these organizations. And then understanding the story of Mumbai, one of the guys was like, yo, did you pay my family the money? Because, I mean, you trying to get me to kill myself? Don't worry about it, brother. And put it on speaker because I want to hear their screams. At the same time, these guys giving up their life, and this guy's sitting behind in some plush palace listening, getting his jolly rocks off, listening to somebody getting murdered. While these guys become the so-called martyrs, dying and then not even really knowing that whether their parent got the money or not, unless they actually talked to the parents and the parents said they got the money. What is it to gain from all this blowing up stuff? Even with the United States being the biggest terrorists of them all, and they ain't gonna get off the hook, the biggest terrorist that's dropping Christian bombs that definitely don't hug people and don't love people, obliterate them. Well, I can't even say the word. It blows them up. We're the biggest terrorists in the world. What do we gain when we go down there and shoot up a bunch of terrorists, and then a van come and help out, and we double tap and shoot a whole bunch of shoot the van, and then the ambulance come help you out, and then we shoot the ambulance, and then what does that prove? How do that make us more safe? How do that make us the shining beacon of the world doing stupid stuff like that? Thank God for Chelsea Manning. Thank God for Julian Assange. Because we want to know that. What does it help when we go around thinking Al-Qaeda is in a hospital or in school or in a bus and we kill innocent kids and innocent patients and grandmas? And what does that prove? We are no different from these fools with the doggone backpacks going in to blow up a freaking church, a hotel, or a Ritzy-Ditsy hotel. I get these people don't like wealth, I tell you that. Wealth is anti-extreme Muslimism. But yet, if you trace the roots of most of those guys, they got some money. It's money that's bankrolling this stuff. But they'll put in our mind that wealth is wrong. To me, wealth is not wrong. It's how you use your wealth is wrong. To me, there's nothing wrong with money with a mission. You got a mission and you got some money and you're going to use your money to accomplish that mission. That is a beautiful thing. I have nothing wrong, man. You achieved the American dream and you got wealthy. Good for you. But have money with a mission. And don't treat the people who help you get the money like crap and leave them out. Let them partake of it. We got to stop this mess, man. We got to stop this. It's more us that promote love and prosperity and unity than them that promote division and hatred and animosity and revenge. It's more us than that. Where's our army? Where's the army of love? Why we can't come together? I mean, that's why one of the things I talked about with Ilhan Omar, and when she went to talk to that organization said, hey, we want to work with all faiths to promote peace and prosperity and love for one another. Even though we may have a difference in religion and faith, the bottom line is love. That's the one thing that Tulsi Gabbard and Marion Wilson has in common is love. Where's the love army? No, we want to crack people's head, and people anti what I believe in. I'm ready to crack your head. What kind of stuff is that? I don't know, man. I don't know. This is sad. Innocent people with their families, with their kids, dressed up nice, ready to celebrate life. Resurrection is a representation of new life, and they was ready to celebrate new life. And some radical Islamic terrorists come in and martyred, killed those Christians. Again, this is one major terrorist attack that involved a sophisticated effort with money backing it up, because those types of bombs, you don't just, no, these were highly sophisticated bombs that takes money to pay for it. Somebody was bankrolling it. We look at that and that's bad. We look at the Christ Church and that's bad. We look at Ditto and Roof and that's bad. We look at all this. We got to understand that it should not be an unbalance. When you talk about Muslims getting persecuted, you call this guy a lone wolf. You don't label him a terrorist. Just like the person who was killing all those people, shooting them out their window at that event in Las Vegas. A lone wolf. You don't know what could have been backing it up. Whether he have 5, 10, or 100 people backing him up in this, or he did that alone. He's still a radical terrorist. A radical terrorist. His motive will label him, but he was a terrorist. He terrorized, and he was radical about terrorizing those folks. Yet every day, Christians all over the world is being persecuted. Some one by one, some in small numbers, and yet they get no coverage. But the moment you hear one man, anyway, I'm done with this. I'm gonna go on and on and on. It was hard for me to deal with this because those are my brothers and sisters in Christ. And I do understand it's not just happening to them, it's happening to people of the Muslim faith. I understand it's not just radical Islamic terrorists. That's what happened to these folks. But there's radical Christian terrorists that clap back at Muslims. And these guys are Christians. That even Muslims mourn them. Real Muslims, not extremists, felt their pain because they knew it could have happened with them. And they're against that. They don't celebrate that. These are the extremists. Yet we have the biggest organization of all, the most extreme organization of all, our government, going around doing this in bigger numbers. We blow up places. sometime in an act of war, sometime in an unsanctioned war. Right now, currently, our so-called president, Mr. Christianity, riding on the white horse himself that got the evangelicals on their knees thanking God for, he's about to go into Venezuela just to take some oil and do business with other people across the country, because we can't get Russia oil, and we got to kiss Saudi behind to get their oil, so we're going to steal. How about you go take from the Saudis? Since we've been rubbing the testicles of Saudi Arabia, kissing the butt of Saudi Arabia, why don't you go take their oil? No, too much a pump. We got to go mess with a socialist, so-called socialist country. Why don't you go to the theocratical government of Saudi Arabia and take their oil? No, he ain't, because we're a bunch of punks. We're their lapdogs. We're weak. And everybody talking about Trump strong. No, he's weak, man. He's giving these guys whatever he want. Whatever they want. Man, go around killing people, kill the journalists, and we you just got to kill some journalists sometime and blow it sweep it under the rug. No, ain't nobody forgot that, Doc. That show how weak you are. All right, I'm done, man. I'm done. We can't depend on a president to be strong and fight for us. It depends on us to be strong and fight for us. And we got to come together in unity and fight against any act of terrorism, whether it's Christian, whether it's Islamic, whether it's atheist, whether it's some other organization that has no religious ties, whether it's our own federal government. We got to come out against this. And we got to come out against it now. All right, Brown with the Rob Report. I'll holler at you later. Peace.